Hi, it's Cara. Welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be reading along with you. We're going to be doing a live read, kind of, if there's enough for me to say. It could be a short video. We'll see. Of The Wicker King by Ancrum. I'm reading it on my Kindle, like iPad with the Kindle app. So that's the cover there. This is the book of the month for the Dragons and Tea book club. One of my goals that I didn't even mention in my goals video, but I'm going to try and participate in more book clubs and like read-alongs this year because I haven't done many of that kind of thing. And what I'm going to try and do for each of them when I participate, because I might not every month, but I'm going to try and participate in, there's two that are happening this month, so you see this video and another video similar, is to do a like live reading vlog, and then I will also be participating in the Goodreads chat and things like that and just reading along. So this one's happening over the next 5 days. I'm going to be reading The Wicker King. I believe it's a mental health contemporary magical realism fantasy blend. Sorry, I've got a lot of brightness coming in from the window. And it's really hard hitting and heartbreaking, but really good. So I have like my little guide to what I'm reading each day, which aligns up with what's going on in the Goodreads group. And I'm going to be live reacting to you over the next couple of days. I will link all the information for the Dragons and Tea book club down below. And if you want to join in with me and the group, obviously I'm not running the group, I'm just participating. You feel free to follow that link down below. Let me know if you're joining in and we can read together next month. So I'm going to start reading, and if I come across anything I want to chat about, I'll share it here. Otherwise, I'll do daily for each of these, like, checkpoints and update and thoughts, regardless of whether there's anything to, like, immediately respond to you, but I will stop and chat if there's anything that like I desperately have to get off my chest. So I just finished day one's section of The Wicker King. I didn't have anything in particular to say during the section, but I can tell as the story progresses I totally will. So far, thoughts. The writing style is kind of simplistic. It has a kind of telling vibe, but in a way that really works. Like, it brings a lot of mystery and interest into the way the story is told. Like, you're kind of getting these snippets, and it kind of makes sense because the chapters are like a page long. They're kind of titled kind of like poetry, and I really like that. It's really interesting. It's slowly building up little bits of information. Basically, we follow August, who's a 17-year-old boy in school. And he's a bit of a, like, middle level in the social hierarchy. He's kind of a bit of a nerd, he's dated a punk girl, so he kind of sits in that group, but he also, sells drugs at school, even though he doesn't do drugs, he just sells them for money, because he's very poor. And then he also, his mum's got clinical depression and is not very helpful around the house. And so he basically runs his house, and he also looks after his friend Jack, whose parents are basically absent. They work away. And so him and his best friend Jack, who is a jock and totally in a different social circle, but outside of school, they're like brothers basically. There's obviously hints of a romance happening there. And we find out at the very start of the story that the two of them were involved in an arson and went to juvie, and then August is in a psychiatric facility. And basically that's where we're going. I am really keen to see where it goes. I really like August as a character. He's nuanced, a little bit snarky, but also just doing his best. And even in this little snippets, you can really see that characterization. And the same with Jack. Jack's a little bit loopy, and a little bit more loving and tender. But yeah, I'm liking this. I can tell it's going to rip out my heart because I've read the premise on, like, I've read the back of the book, but yes, I am scared for what's going to happen. I also like that there's lots of side characters and it's building up this world. Like, sometimes books have not enough characters to make worlds seem believable, and although really there hasn't been any adult figures yet, because obviously his mum's not really there, she's in the house but doesn't participate very much, and then Jack's parents aren't there, and we're obviously in a school setting, so most of the side characters are school age. It still feels like a community, which I really like. Anyway, see you tomorrow with part 2. Okay, so I just finished today's section of the Wicker King. I don't even know what to say. Part of me has this feeling that, like, I've read something, maybe it's the way it's written, the voice, and the way it kind of jumps scenes a lot. It's reminding me a lot of a fan fiction I read a long time ago, but just in a vague way, like I couldn't point you to the fan fiction. But that, like, jumping past a lot of scenes and that way of, like, skipping past scenes super fast, like you're just staying in for a small snapshot of this scene and then moving on to another one that could be like weeks in the future, and just kind of getting these key moments. I feel like I've read that style before in fan fiction, and much less in commercial fiction. I did hear, I'm reading this on obviously an ebook format on the Kindle app, but I've heard from people reading the physical book on the Goodreads group that as you go through, the edges of the pages change colour, which I think is a wicked touch. In this section, we're diving into the start of kind of the main plot that's on the back of the book, which is Jack's hallucinatory disorder. So Jack sees things like this other world that's layered over the top of the world they're living in, and I don't think the boys are going about it particularly well, but I kind of like that it's this exploration of how the fuck does 17-year-old people deal with the idea of hallucinations, especially when August really wants to support Jack, and he doesn't really know how to go about that. So I feel like they're making a lot of mistakes, like they're setting themselves up for disaster, but like it also kind of seems realistic. Like no 17-year-old is going to do a good job of dealing with something like this. I'm really interested to see how it all kind of comes together, and really we're only seeing the start. This, like, there was a particular scene where August says something like, "This was fun," but the kind of fun where you could tell it was all gonna go downhill really fast. And that's the book. Like, I'm enjoying it, but you can tell it's gonna get dark real soon. So I finished this section of the Wicker King a couple of hours ago now, but I've been cleaning, so I haven't had a chance to film my footage. You can really see in this section, like, August's slide into trouble. Like, Jack's wholeheartedly always believed in this delusion that he's seeing. But it's interesting to see the way August is starting to slowly believe in it too. And how, like, it's a bit unclear. There's a bit of magical realism, unclear whether it is somewhat real. This is particularly poignant with the newspaper clipping of the farmer finding the stones, or like the precious stones. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it, but I can definitely see how this is going to break my heart. And I think it's really starting to ramp up the pace. There's only 2 days left. I'm very excited. But I don't think I have much to say, because it just is. I'm just enjoying it. I'm having a heartbreakingly good time. And yeah, preparing for the worst, but you know, like the worst in a good way. The worst in a good way. Okay, so it's Friday morning. I just finished the next section of the Wicker King, and oh my god. Obviously August is kind of descending and succumbing into this thing. Like, obviously his mental health is also whacked up. He's doing some petty arsony, and obviously, yeah, you can see August getting going more and more downhill. In what kind of echoes Jack's going downhill. But because Jack is living in his own delusions, you can tell that he doesn't feel like he's going downhill. Whereas you can really see August struggling. And struggling to distinguish, like, their relationship is borderline abusive. And his friends are calling him out on it. Like, it's definitely not, at this point, it's not idolized. You can tell it's not a good thing. Like, Jack's delusions are kind of seeing August as subservient, and like he's that he's kind of like positioned him as his knight to Jack's king. And it's very interesting because Jack kind of comes in and out of these like very dominating episodes where he just like bosses August around in a very like nasty kind of way, and August just takes, and you can tell that it's like August has this weird thing of like Jack saved his life when they were kids, and he feels like he owes him a debt, and he's obviously absolutely in love with him, and it's definitely not healthy. And the whole kind of like way Jack's delusions feed into that is just like, man. But we only have one section left, so you'll hear my final thoughts tomorrow. Holy moly. So I just finished The Wicker King. This was intense. The last half of the book, so kind of yesterday finished off, did I update yesterday? Yesterday finished off right as the action at the start of the book was kind of happening. So we had this real build of August's like dependency on Jack, and Jack's hallucinations were coming to a real head, and then in this final section we had everything kind of resolving, but in a bit of a like intense sad way. I'm really red on the nose today. So most of this section, both Jack and August were in the mental institution, the juvenile psych unit. And I think it really started to explore where August had a lot of his troubles. So obviously August isn't mentally ill per se, but he's very codependent on Jack. And it's not a healthy relationship. And I really like that this book addressed that. Like, it addressed the fact that their relationship isn't healthy. That it has the potential to become healthy, but that at this point in time, it really is not on equal grounds. We find out that Jack's hallucinations are because of a brain tumor. And he has the tumor removed. So his hallucinations are gonna go away. And what that means for their relationship is in question. Also, we finally see them like acknowledging their love for each other, which was A+, but also like still they're in this relationship that was built on an imbalance of power, I guess. And it's not healthy at all. It was addressed that it wasn't healthy. Like, I feel like this book could borderline on idolation of unhealthy relationships, but it also makes it very clear this is not a good, healthy relationship. Apparently there's a sequel, and that will focus a lot on their life after these events, and I think that's going to be really necessary and helpful to explore how people overcome this kind of like codependent nature of a toxic relationship. So I'm really interested to see that. But overall, I thought this book was really good. The writing was at times a little simplistic, but the emotional energy and everything throughout the story more than made up for it, in my opinion. I thought it was just super well done. The plot was really engaging, really easy to read and fly through. And yeah, I think it addressed the mental health concerns and the toxic relationship concerns in a decently good way. I haven't worked out my rating for this yet. I've got to put it through my review system and see what it pops out at. I'm guessing it's probably a 4.5. The writing, I think, let it down a little bit. Like, I don't think it's 5-star writing for me. So I don't think it'll hit the 5-star mark. But I did really enjoy it. I'm excited to see what other people think. And if you read this for this read-along book club, comment down below and chat with me about it and tell me what you thought. Yeah, so this is the little vlog done. If there's a live show, I think there's a live show I'll be participating. I'll be like chatting on that probably if it lines up with my schedule. Anyway, I'm really glad I read this. I thought it was really good. And I'm excited to see more by this author, especially a like potential sequel in this series. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.